So we're gonna go ahead and open this box and see what do we have in store for us today. Hey, I recognize that. What is this? That it would be funny if it's in a Chapman case and it's not. It's a private stock PRS. Now, it's a Chapman. Just trying to see if it's the, yep, made in Korea with a boat anchor. First thing, action is really high. Like really high. I know that's always preference. It plays great though. It's ringing out great, but that's also because I got the high. So, neck through body. Looks like mahogany neck through with ash wings. Okay, locking keys, no name brand, locking keys. That's still cool though. Can't imagine they're horrible. Nut. Looks. I have to check it. Could be graphite, looks plastic. It's a little gap in it right there. Again, nothing horrible. I mean, I wouldn't complain like if I got it that way. Because it's not a serious gap issue. Swap the pickups to something really interesting and unique for you. We're sending the cool guitar. Tuning keys, I don't know if I'd swap out. Locking, it's got locking straps. So here's what I think for modifications of the guitar. Frets look good, don't need to be polished, but I'll probably buff them anyways and polish them. Needs a setup. I'll do the setup. Might swap out the pickups just because. I'm feeling the neck right now because what I'm feeling in the neck is where they sprayed clear coat, because this has got a small clear coat, satin clear coat on it. You can feel where they captured pieces of sawdust underneath the finish. It's like a little micro. It's not, you know, it's at first you feel it feels like exposed grain, but it's not because they sealed it. So it's just, you know, they shoot these things in the factory and there's stuff floating in the air and that stuff sticks to the guitars and then they spray the clear over it. And then because this is such a thin satin coat, the finish isn't thick enough to cover up those little pieces. So I have a trick to kind of make that better. So playing it right now, like sliding around, it's not horrible, but you do feel it. It doesn't feel smooth. And it doesn't feel raw in the cool way where it feels like you're touching the wood. It feels, like I said, it feels like I'm feeling the bumps from the dirt. That has to do with this finish and not with the company or manufacturer. There's a couple scratches. We talk about, you know, always inspect the guitars. A couple scratches right here. One there, one there. Nothing big deal because it's part of, looks like one right there. Nice weight, nice and light. Ash can go, you know, depending on the piece, it can be really heavy because it's full of moisture, or it can be really light. So, oh, big dent right there. Again, these are cool. I mean, I know that I'm pointing out your scratch and stuff on your guitar, but I'm just doing that because, you know, like I said, sometimes you want to inspect it like you're about to buy it. These things, none of these things would discourage me. I think those are like the histories, like the scars of the guitar, you know. Only problem for me is most of my scars on my guitars are mystery scars. Like I come home and I'm like, why is there a nick on my guitar? Who was playing my guitar when I wasn't here? And it's probably the kids were throwing. Mom said never play ball in the house. So instead of Mrs. Brady's lamp, it's always my guitar that suffers from you children. Feels good. It feels like a really nice Schecter. This neck is different. Little wide, a little thin, but rounded, not a U shape. So, trying to think where I know this neck from, this profile. It's not a Music Man, definitely not a Fender, not a Ibanez. It is its own thing, neck shape, because it literally tapers in such a strange way. What's interesting about this is, based on what I think and all my experience of touching necks and playing with the stuff, it really leads me to believe that Rob Scallon had some kind of input on this, because this isn't a neck I could say. When you pick up guitars overseas, there's standard neck profiles they just make, and then you go, yeah, that feels good, do that. This doesn't feel like, yeah, do that. This feels like somebody kept carving a neck until it felt a certain way, and then they clay molded it or whatever, and then they said, okay, this is the neck. So really leads me to believe that Rob Scallon had a lot of input in the neck feel. Or they got lucky and they handed him this weird neck and he was like, yes, I like a neck that's thin, almost like an Ibanez, but rounded instead of U-shape. Definitely cool. Yeah, I can see why the Chapman guys are gaining ground with these. Okay, so now we're gonna check the guitar out. Like I said, the action's really high. It's actually way higher than what I was thinking it was gonna be. I like to measure it using a metric ruler, and I measure off the 12th fret. I will put the guitar, I never lay the guitar on the mat flat, because that sometimes can push a flex in the neck and raise the action even higher. So I'll put the guitar to its side. A lot of times I just like to put it like on my knee. This is showing that the action off the 12th fret, so to the top of the fret of the 12th fret to the bottom of the E string is 2.25 millimeters, almost 2.5 millimeters. That's way too high. And let me tell you why. You can even, if you like your action high, that's fine. The problem you're gonna have is pushing down that far is gonna bring the note sharp. So all your intonation will show that all your notes are sharp. So you just wanna bring it down a lot. Now, what I noticed was when this was sent to me, there was no mention about the action being high. A lot of players will say, hey, my action's high. If I get a guitar where I think the action's abnormally high and they don't mention it, it's probably because they don't notice it or care. Some players don't have a problem with how high the action is. So based on that information, I don't want to slam the action down, you know, low shred style. He probably doesn't mind if it's a little high. So I'm going to take it down to a normal height, maybe 1.5 millimeters off the 12th fret is where I'm going to go with this. On the 3rd fret, which is the second spot where I measure, we are at almost 0.75. So 0.75 is actually perfect. So what we want to do if we're going to lower the saddles is real simple. We want to take a radius gauge. In this case, this is showing that the radius on this guitar is 12 inches. Let's double check that. It looks like it's 12 inches. I'm going to double check to make sure that it's not 16. And it's kind of, yeah, it could be 16 too. It's really close. So on that, based on that information, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that I want to keep the bridge radius at about 12 to 16. I've set the action the way I like it. We need to straighten the neck. What's interesting about this guitar is that it's a dual action truss rod. So the important part to realize is that if you turn clockwise, you will be tightening it. And if you turn counterclockwise, you'll be loosening it until a certain point, you'll get to 0. And then as you go counterclockwise, you'll be retightening it just the other way. It's a dual action truss rod. In other words, it can push the neck forward or backwards. So what happens in this case is it didn't need to be tightened to straighten the neck out. It actually needed to be loosened. So it was super easy. It was a quarter turn to loosen the neck, if that makes any sense, to straighten it. Normally you would say tighten it to straighten it, but you understand what I'm saying is that in this case, the neck was being pushed artificially forward by the truss rod. So just relaxing the truss rod, let that kind of mellow out. It plays fantastic immediately. Now this action is definitely low and probably a little too shreddy. So we'll go ahead and we'll raise it a little bit on the bridge, just a little bit, and I think we got it right where we want it. This input jack is pretty junktacular. So we're gonna go ahead and switch that out to a switchcraft. I wanna show you the difference. There you go, look at that. You see? So going with a better input jack. These are things that can fail at you at the worst times while you're playing a gig. So we're gonna upgrade his output jack and his pickups. And let me explain why we're gonna switch his pickups. Okay, so I took the screws out of the pickup. There's some foam here, and it's a G&B pickup, which is G&B is a company, I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but I'm mostly sure that they're made in Korea. Very good pickup manufacturer. They make a lot of pickups. They make what's in your Paul Reed Smith SEs. They're good pickups, they seem fine. But this is about, Sharpen my X. This is about making this amazing. So I thought to myself, how do I improve this guitar? I mean, this guitar came pretty much fit and finish perfectly. The frets had no high frets. They really didn't even need polish. There's no neck issues. There's no tuning key issues. The nut is graphite. The fit and finish is perfect, as you would expect from a relatively expensive Korean-made guitar. So what can we do to improve it in pickups? And I know what everybody's thinking. Hey, you know, let's put some Seymour Duncans in there. And I came up with something different. I had a close friend of mine who makes amazing pickups. Helped me put something pretty magical in this guitar. What you're about to see here is a custom set of William Wiggins pickups that are the same exact color as the Stride. What you're looking at, I'm gonna give you a really detailed close look right now, is a set of pickups that are actual wood. Now I haven't installed them yet because I want you to see. They are 100% wood. The bottoms are wood, the top is wood, they're handcrafted. These are amazing. This is a 9.8K bridge pickup. This pickup, let's take these foam blocks off. This is 8.8K and 8.8K, hand signed by William Wiggins. And these are handmade, hand-wound custom pickups. If you guys have been watching the channel for any time, you know that I've done William Wiggins single coils before, and I thought, what a great guitar to put them in there. They both are dual slugs, and these are Alnico pickups, so not ceramics. So they're gonna have I think a smoother tone, more balanced sound, and it's gonna really bring this guitar to life. And I think aesthetically, it just looks like, you know, $1 million. Okay, so now for the controversial, do you oil the fretboard? Well, I'm going to in this case because I want to shine it up, just make it look nice. So I'm gonna hydrate it. I'm gonna use the fingerboard conditioner from Gooby Labs, which is a Hosa product. And I just spray a little bit. I like having the mist to mist it just right onto a cloth. My thing with this, everybody's like, you know, do you use conditioner? Do you not use fingerboard conditioner? My personal preference is sparingly. You know, you're just trying to make it look like something nice. I think sometimes the wood dries out. I've heard 1,000 excuses and reasons why you should and shouldn't use it, but I've been using this for so long on so many guitars and so many of my guitars with no incident that I don't see anything. I've not seen it, and I've never really come across anyone who used so much of it that the frets were lifting out because they over-oiled. Although I would imagine you can do anything can be a bad thing if you take it to extreme. So again, I haven't had any issues with that. Okay, so the guitar is all done. It's got 9 to 46 hybrid strings on it, which is what Gregor had sent me with it when I checked them out. Its action has been lowered dramatically from 2.5 millimeters to 1.5 off the 12th fret. The 3rd fret stayed exactly the same, so it feels kind of the same up here, but just a little better up here. More consistent. It doesn't feel like a kind of ski slope when you're playing the strings. It feels like it's level with the fretboard. The neck feels a lot better. I took some 8000 grit sandpaper to the back of the neck. You can't tell what I did, but you don't feel those little bumps anymore. It feels a little smoother to the touch. The guitar has been intonated, and again, the beautiful Wiggins pickups, they're installed, and look at that. Just one more closer. Just look at that. And the guitar looks expensive. I mean, it's a nice looking guitar to begin with, but this guitar, we've definitely tricked it out. But does that really mean anything if it doesn't sound fantastic? So let me show you some of the sounds. First, I'm going to start with a Houston Kittner amp, the Grandmeister on clean, and we're going to start in the middle position. And I know Rob kind of does some slap stuff. I can't really mimic what he does, but I'll, you know, just do some stuff so we can get an idea for the sound. Okay, ready? Okay, so now what we want to do is go to the neck position and try just a clean tone to see how it sounds. I really like how clear the chords sound, like a single coil, but warmer. It's really a nice balance. He's done a really good job with these pickups. Just another thing that's really great is if I go to the bridge position, it sounds fantastic too. This is the clean. And usually bridge positions are harsh and brittle. So I know the question next is going to be, does it gent? I don't know why. I'm just thinking I got this guitar. That's a thing. And I am definitely not a gent person, but I will do my best to fake my gent, which is going to be my new t-shirt out next fall. Fake my gent. And here we go. Ready? My arm gets sore from that. How do you guys gent? That is a workout that I will just stick to my punk rock and blues. All right. So that all being said, that is what you have going on. This is the Sharpen My Axe contest. This was Gregor's entry, which was a very beautiful Chapman guitar. Unfortunately for the video, it didn't need a whole lot to do. So there's not a whole lot, but there's more to come with these. So I hope you will follow. I want to thank everyone who's participated in this, not only the people who sent me these guitars, which was very gracious of you to entrust me with your beautiful instruments, the companies like Graphtech and Wiggins who have helped by sending product to help me put in these to subsidize some of the costs I'm having. With that all being said, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm sure having a blast. And as always, I want to thank you for your time and know your gear. Goodbye. Hello.